Salutare! Bine ai venit la o nouă ediție Digitaliation, o producție Upgrade 100 și Aspen Institute România ca partener. Este una specială de data asta pentru că am promis să aducem alături de noi cât mai multe voci relevante pe zona de transformare digitală. Episod după episod am văzut cum se vede digitalizarea României din cât mai multe puncte de vedere, cât mai diverse și asta din dorința de a progresa cât mai rapid pe această zonă. Am încercat însă să învățăm și din exemplele altor țări. Aduc aici aminte episodul cu Finlanda, prima clasată europeană în clasamentul DESI pe digitalizare. Astăzi, tot într-o ediție specială, iată, încercăm să învățăm din exemplu unei alte țări în care transformarea digitală este făcută în condiții foarte critice, Ucraina. Îl am alături de mine pe domnul Victor Zhora, Chief Digital Transformation Officer la Serviciul de Stat pentru Comunicații Speciale și Protecția Informațiilor al Ucrainei. Pentru că protecția infrastructurii este, după părerea mea, o bază a oricărei construcții de transformare digitală și cu atât mai mult când este asigurată în condiții extraordinare de război. Deci unui cyber war îi se alătură un război adevărat de data asta. Cum reușește Ucraina să își mențină funcțională infrastructura de comunicații, cum răspunde atacurilor cibernetice, cum reușește în aceste condiții să asigure, ba chiar să dezvolte servicii online, sunt întrebări la care caut răspuns astăzi. Mr. Zhora, thank you so much for being with us today.
Bună ziua, Radu. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's my big pleasure and privilege.
Thank you so much. First of all, let me thank also Aspen Institute Ukraine for making it possible and you and your amazing team for organizing this interview so quickly and in very good conditions. Thank you so much. Okay, let's start the conversation about the role and mission of the State Service for Special Communication and Information Protection that you are leading. What exactly is your institution doing for our audience? It would be great to know when it was established and what is its role.
Our service, the State Service for Special Communications and Information Protection of Ukraine, was established in 2006. So we celebrated 17 years this year, and we are responsible for more than 100 functions. For instance, we are in charge of providing secure communication to country leaders, to our government, and the fact that our President Zelensky was able to talk to global audience from the first days of war is due to professionalism of our colleagues. We also are responsible for broadcasting of TV and radio signal. We are a regulator in the field of information security and cyber protection. We deal with the countering of technical intelligence. And also, since December 2022, we are responsible for protecting critical infrastructure in the country. So generally, more than 100 functions, and we have up to 11,000 servants in our service, including our state enterprises. In cyber security, we deal with regulation and protection of state information resources and critical information infrastructure. So we are not law enforcement agency, we are not intelligence agency, but we are a governmental entity with a special status, which is half civilian, half military. But in time of war, of course, our role is crucial, both for cyber protection and also secure communication and many other functions, of course.
And when did you join the state service? What are your vision and strategic goals?
I worked in private business for more than 17 years, and I joined this service in the very beginning of 2022. That is a great challenge for me, but maybe I was invited due to my successful experience in private business, because I was responsible for many projects of national scope and also building of security operations centers. So I dealt with in this area for many years, but it's a great opportunity to apply all my knowledge and experience for the country, for the needs of Ukrainian people, and participate in transformation of the national cybersecurity system. It's a great challenge and at the same time great privilege. And even now, especially now, considering the circumstances, I'm happy to be here, in a part of team of our president and of SSSCIP, and help my country win the first global cyber war.
You mentioned the main role is to protect the state against cyber attacks. Just to have a dimension, could you share some statistics on this? What is the exact dimension of this cyber war in Ukraine?
Well, first of all, cyber war began in 2014. I mean, the full-scale aggression in cyberspace against Ukraine from Russia. This happened simultaneously with the occupation of Crimea and eastern part of Donbass, and resulted in a series of severe and destructive cyber incidents, starting from an attack on the Central Elections Commission in May 2014, following with a number of attacks on Ukrainian critical infrastructure, particularly power grid, in 2015 and 2016. Famous attacks, Black Energy and Industroyer. And later on, it was followed by the most destructive cyber attack in history called NotPetya on 27th of June 2017. All these cyber attacks caused a serious shift in our awareness of cyber threats, and also a shift in the state policy. Ukraine was able to adopt the national cybersecurity strategy, the law on basic principles of cyber security. We were able to launch a number of state projects, security operations center, improve coordination between responsible agencies, basically form the national cybersecurity systems, and with the help of our international partners, establish some capacities for cyber protection, and also train our workforce. With the beginning of full-scale invasion, and even prior to this, since we consider the January 14th to be the start of this full-scale aggression and the start of component of cyber warfare in this hybrid war, the density and quantity of cyber incidents tripled in comparison with the same period of the previous year. And during last year, our National Incident Response Team, CERTUA, which I oversee, recorded 2,194 major cyber incident. But in total, there were more than 7,000 incidents, because we received a lot of information from our partners, and some of these incidents are processed automatically. But manually, we processed more than 2,000 incidents. And now, since full-scale invasion, we have more than 3,200 major cyber incidents. So basically, we deal with up to 10 major cyber incidents per week. And this is a huge challenge for our service, for our colleagues from other cybersecurity agencies, and also for public and private sector of Ukraine. But nevertheless, the aggressor hasn't reached their strategic goals in cyber, and Ukraine continues to maintain our cyber resilience rather high level.
That's impressive indeed. I wanted to ask you what changed when the war started. You already told me these statistics, which are quite impressive once again. What are the big challenges in terms of that? We had an interview with your Romanian counterpart, the head of cybersecurity directorate in Romania, and he mentioned not only the cyber attacks that they have to respond, but also the organization for that, the human resource you need, and so on. What are the biggest challenges for you?
Well, first of all, since you mentioned our main counterpart in Romania, our dearest colleague, Dan Kimpean, the chief of the National Cybersecurity Directorate, I'm happy to confirm that we've signed the Memorandum of Understanding with the Directorate during the war, and we have very fruitful partnership and cooperation, and hopefully it will develop, and also other agencies from both sides will be involved in this cooperation. But it's great to confirm and to consider that Ukraine and Romania have established very close ties and partnership in cybersecurity, which will allow our states to be cyber resilient in front of evolving threats and challenges. In terms of huge challenges that arise in the beginning of war, perhaps the biggest challenge was to ensure probability of critical e-services, IT services that our government provides for businesses and for ordinary citizens. You probably know that Ukraine has a national application called DIA, which has more than 17 million users, and every Ukrainian can get a lot of services, accesses to registers, also identification through this application. We have the information pass between main registers in our country, which serve as the source of information for this application and for this portal. Also providing other services solely in different ministries and organizations. So it's a huge system, and digitalization is the highest priority, a part of state policy in Ukraine. And of course, it was our crucial task to ensure the reliability and the operability of these services even during the war, and also to provide communication for people. So both of these challenges were maintained in parallel. And in terms of first challenge, I mean reliability of our information systems, of data centers. Of course, we faced a lot of challenges in the cybersecurity, but prior to full-scale invasion, we started our work on migration of data and systems to clouds, and also to data centers in safer western regions of Ukraine, in front of risk of occupation of our capital, which hosted most of these registers and databases. And with the help of our foreign partners from private sector, from companies like Microsoft, AWS, Google, and others, we were able to relocate our important and critical data and information systems to those clouds, simultaneously changing the law very quickly. So now, significant part of these services are operating in cloud environments. In terms of communication, of course, we we foresaw that the adversary will attack our telecom infrastructure in both domains, in cyber and also in a physical domain. In cyber, we can name some major cyber incidents, and the first that happened in the first hours of war, the attack on Viasat satellite provider and subnetwork KSAT, which served for some of customers in defense and security sphere in Ukraine, and was used as the backup communication link for Ukrainian armed forces. So attackers disrupted this satellite subsystem, but it didn't result in any decrease of coordination of our armed forces. Later on in March, Russians attacked the largest ground IT and telecom provider, Ukr Telecom, and also a number of other ISPs, but they quickly restored their services. The biggest challenge was closer to the battlefield and also on temporarily occupied territories, because fiber optic lines and communication nodes were partially destroyed. And our partners from the United States proposed us Starlink technology to ensure communication in these territories. And that was crucial for our ability, first of all, to coordinate the actions of our authorities, of government, and also of security and defense sector, but at the same time helped people to stay online, to get prompt news, and to have the ability of talking to their loved ones in the time of this challenging period.
Indeed, last year at the Bucharest Forum, organized by Aspen Institute Romania, one of the guests, an important person from Microsoft, was mentioning and was very impressed by the speed that you make the transfer of crucial services and crucial data to the cloud in the first days of war. So somehow confirming your story. How do you keep people motivated? I know that war motivates because you have a clear enemy and you clear fight, but bringing teams together and continuously fighting is not an easy task for any person. How do you manage to work in this environment?
Well, of course, we are very motivated to win the war as soon as possible in all domains, in physical domain and also in cyber domain. What we witness here is a great unity of all cybersecurity agencies, of private sector. We were able to recruit biggest talents from the industry, best cybersecurity experts to our service. They are helping us in defending of our digital boundaries. Some of experts join armed forces and also work in a cyber domain. Some of colleagues from private sector remained in their businesses, helping their existing customers. At the same time, they spend a lot of their free time voluntarily helping us, SSSCIP, CERT-UA, in incident response, in remediation, in building some cybersecurity infrastructures even from scratch for certain clients. This is strengthened with the help of our foreign partners, our sister agencies, colleagues from government of other countries, also from global IT providers and specialized cybersecurity companies. So this is a new level of public and private partnership in cybersecurity, real unity, which serve as the wall for Russian aggressor. And of course, our successes in cyber defense serve as the great motivator for all of us. We consider this a way to bring the victory closer, and we are looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to it as well, as you know. What I wanted to ask you also, you mentioned the collaboration is being a key in this cyber war. How did you collaborate with other entities? You mentioned those internally that are very united. How about externally? How do you collaborate with them during these hard times?
Ukraine and our cybersecurity agency in public sector continue to get assistance and help from all around the globe, pro bono, or through the frameworks of different international technical assistance projects from European Union, from the United Kingdom, from the United States, and many other countries. We get direct help from governments, from private companies. And in time of war, we establish direct partnership with many countries and agencies. Ukraine signed MOUs with France, Finland, Slovenia, Poland, SSSCIP, which I represent here, signed an MOU with the DNSC of Romania, with the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency of the United States, CISA, with Polish NOSC, and a lot of other agencies in our partner countries. So continue also developing relations with global and cybersecurity companies. And we continue getting support in hardware, software, in cloud environments, consulting services, and what is very important in cyber intelligence. Prompt information on cyber threats and cyber incidents, indicators of compromise, are crucial for our ability to promptly identify threats, reach out to potential victims, and prevent global cyber attacks and cyber incidents.
You mentioned the lessons learned after these years, and I was reflecting on that. Looking back, what you improve or do differently? I know there's a lot to process in this, but in an ideal world, what would you change? What would you like to have more?
Our goal is to scale up. I think that all approaches that we took to build and strengthen our national cybersecurity system were more or less correct, but we need to intensify our efforts, and I would do this earlier. Of course, we understood that the war is coming, and we started preparations much earlier. Mm-hmm. But understanding the potential vectors of attack, even more or less knowing them through industries, but having exact information which organization will be attacked would give us opportunity to focus on certain infrastructures, certain environments, and make us more resilient to these threats. So maybe the amount of efforts should be increased, and knowing more on the upcoming aggression. Perhaps we would intensify our efforts in building workforce and hiring people, scaling our cyber defensive units, earlier. We did it from the first days of war. So our goal is continue improving our defensive techniques, continue hiring, recruiting new talents, and scaling up our capacities in cybersecurity.
That's great. And what are your hopes for the future? What would you like to see?
Well, first of all, we all pray for quick victory, because many millions of people are suffering from this war, from atrocities of Russian occupation forces, from destructions, pain and suffering they bring Ukrainian people each day. I hope that Ukrainian armed forces will do their best to win the war as soon as possible. But in terms of cyber warfare, I'm not so optimistic. I think it will continue even after the kinetic war ends. And that means that we should be strong, we should be united, we should call for a coalition of of states with responsible behavior in cyberspace. We should improve our cooperation, organize joint exercises, establish exchange of information, of best practices. Of course, we should focus on bringing the adversary to accountability, since we consider some of cyber attacks as cyber war crimes when these actions helped Russian occupation forces in their activities, or served for amplification of psychological and destructive effect of their kinetic attacks. So building this new legal framework for dealing with this new entity is very important for further prevention of cyber aggression. But the world should stay united because unfortunately this cyber warfare likely will continue in more covert mode, and potentially can be enriched with new actors. Cyber threats will continuously evolve, especially in terms of evolving artificial intelligence and machine learning and other modern technologies that will bring new threats. But we have no other way than to develop digital economy and transform our societies with the help of modern digital technologies.
Thank you so much. One question I was thinking about is how can we help? Just a bracket here. We are organizing this podcast and many other events in partnership Upgrade 100, Aspen Institute Romania, in order to push for the digital agenda of Romania, to bring valuable lessons from you, for example, but from any other players in Romania and abroad, to boost this efforts in digitalization of Romania. So it's somehow like an more egocentric view on how can we help Romania. So my question is back to you: how can we help Ukraine in this case? I don't know what we can do as a podcast or as a people involved in communication can help you, and what would be your message?
Well, first of all, as a podcast, you're doing a great job in raising awareness of Romanian people in digital technologies and also in cybersecurity. And thank you very much for this. I think we can do a lot jointly in raising this awareness in publicly articulating threats and also opportunities that digital technologies can bring to our states. On a governmental level, I'm confident that we will continue developing our partnership. And the fact that Romania is very active on a European scene in cybersecurity, having the ECCC Center open in Bucharest and playing one of major roles in building up European policy in cybersecurity. It's crucial for Ukraine as the candidate to European Union, having such reliable and professional partner as Romania in pursuing the goal of joining the entire European cybersecurity system through joint participation in European projects, through knowledge exchange, through trainings, through joint exercises, through adoption and adaptation of European legislation in cybersecurity in Ukraine, on bringing private sector and establishing communication and links between Romanian and Ukrainian private sector in cybersecurity. This is a huge number of lines of efforts that we should follow together for the benefits of our countries.
Thank you so much. I know that your time is very limited, and I can understand. And kidnapping you from your job, for your important job, is very much appreciated here. One thing is more of a curiosity, if you want. I was looking at the Ukraine example in terms of digital services, and you mentioned the digital agenda, that it's quite a priority for Ukraine. In the same time, we're looking at the efforts done in Romania, and somehow Ukraine in a time of war managed to do more than Romania in a time of peace. I know that you're not going to give advices to Romania, but a reflection on how important is the digitalization of these services, how impactful are they for the people. We would like to have it shared from you, from your experience in Ukraine, in order to share with Romanian counterparts to boost their efforts, as I mentioned, is part of our mission here.
I think that our efforts in digitalization and that number of services that we were able to launch prior to the full-scale invasion and during this war helps the Ukrainian people to feel much more safe in front of challenges of war. I will give an example. We have millions of temporary relocated people inside the Ukraine, and also millions of people, millions of Ukrainians staying abroad. And the fact that most of governmental services were converted to online mode allowed these people to continue receiving important services using their electronic identity abroad, having access to different information systems, and keeping these links with the Ukraine. So I think that was right approach, right efforts. And this can be not perhaps an example, because all European countries are mostly following the same track. But the fact that this should be done in time, and all infrastructures and communication links and staff should be prepared for some contingencies is very important. And this means that we should build and develop these systems with a security by design approach. And this is, of course, what we should consider and perhaps exchange a lot in terms of different aspects of the same process of digital transformation of our economies and societies.
Mr. Zhora, thank you so much for being with us today. It was an impressive lesson, and I hope your message and our message towards the Romanian audience will be very much appreciated, as I appreciate very much your time and being with us today. I know how busy the agenda is. I thank you once again and your team for making it possible.
Mr. Puchiu, thank you so much for your time, for invitation. All the best to you, your team, and Romanian people. Mulțumesc frumos.
Cu drag. Thank you for so much once again.
Thank you.
Am văzut astăzi perspectiva apărării cibernetice în timp de război și cât de importantă e pentru asigurarea serviciilor statului în Ucraina. E un loc din care cu siguranță putem extrage multe lecții. Mărturisesc că sunt impresionat și am văzut și partea acestui interviu cât reușește Ucraina să facă pe timp de război în comparație cu România în timp de pace, în zona serviciilor digitale, bineînțeles. Sper că și acest episod să ajute celor care au ca sarcină digitalizarea României. Promitem ca în acest parteneriat Upgrade 100, Aspen Institute România, să venim în continuare cu subiecte și invitați care să ajute acest proces. Țineți aproape de noi, așadar. Mulțumesc foarte mult!